This just got dropped off. All the customer could tell me was, this came from another garage. And it's kind of unfortunate because I don't have all the details on it. The only thing that they did tell me is that it was getting stuck in a gear. They couldn't tell me which gear. And that it also had a torque converter clutch code. It's a 2008. I can tell it's the 5.3. It's more than likely going to have the internal speed sensor on the pump and the reluctor wheel on the input drum due to the black plug. And it should be in an 08. It might or might not have the 5-pin planets. The thing I noticed right away, as soon as I took the converter off, the ring's missing, the lockup ring from the input shaft. Now, I mean, that's obviously going to cause a lockup problem and a code, but it wouldn't have developed over time because he said the unit was rebuilt and they had it for a while and it worked fine. Again, it's secondhand, because it would have been instant. You would have always had that problem. It would have just slowly gotten worse. I've never seen that ring come off and get stuck in the converter unless the previous shop that when they pulled it, they took that off of there prior to me getting it. I mean, but it is odd that that's an 1870 code, lockup code, and then this is missing. So I mean, little odd. Let me get into it here, get the bell bolts off of here, get the pump bolts out of here. The fluid looks really good still. So, thinking it's a valve body problem, or they actually do have a problem where someone left off the lockup ring, which is kind of ridiculous, but whatever. Come on. The fluid looks really good. Standard servo. And it's out of a, what did he say? It was out of a work van or work truck. I'm not sure, some type of a work vehicle, so I'm sure it was getting used and abused with hauling lots of weight. PRNDL switch off of here. Hopefully, since it's supposedly new, it won't be so bad to get off. Yeah, doesn't feel like there's much of a ridge there. Nope, good. Don't want to have to replace that unless we absolutely have to. Get the extension housing off, the pan next, and zip the valve body off of it. And the fluid looks really good. not too hateful. There's definitely a decent amount of clutch material on the magnet. There's something up here. It's metal too. Maybe a washer or bushing, because it is kind of a bronzish color. I don't like that sound. A little crispy critter on the wiring harness. Yeah, the fluid looks really good. There's a ton of material stuck in the filter. Filter started to collapse a little. Yeah, the wiring harness was broke, so whoever built it before didn't even put a wiring harness on it. I mean, really? So they leave it for me to do, to charge the customer, and they want to know why it costs so much more. So I mean, the clips are both broken on both the solenoids. I mean, that alone could be loose, moving around, causing all types of issues. And because he did say it was rebuilt, and I can tell someone's been into it. Realistically, it should get all new solenoids and the wiring harness on every build, unless the customer's wanting to save some money. But then it becomes like a warranty issue for me. Yeah, see, they're so brittle. So whenever they were taking them off before, when the job was done, all of them, I just broke those three, but I mean, it's gonna need a new one. Even the EPC was broken. Didn't zip tie it, didn't do anything to secure it, just plugged it in and left it like that. And it's just so brittle and old. I mean, it's cracking everywhere. So whenever this unit failed before, it probably got extremely hot. And that's what caused all this to, yeah, see, to get so brittle and weak. And it should have been dealt with when it was built prior. I mean, they reused the plastic accumulator, which in my opinion is a big no-no. It is starting to crack. So you're definitely going to have problems there on the 1-2 shift. A little bit of a leak. Housing looks fine. They got their bolts in the right place. Let's actually check and see how torqued these are. Because from what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like it was a quality job. I'm not even very far into it. Book is 8 on these. I do them on I mean, it's not even registering. I could literally almost take these off with my hand. Almost. I mean, I'm barely pushing it. I mean, it's not even registering on the torque wrench. They're so loose. They're just barely past hand tight. That's ridiculous. I bet I could take them off with the socket if it wasn't for the oil on my hands. Let me see, I didn't do that one yet. Nope. Nah, it's just barely on there. I mean, watch, I'll barely use the gun if I can. Well, it's too hard to really show you how loose these, but there, that one just came off. Unless I hit it with the wrench already, I think I did. but these are totally loose. Pressure loss ever. I'm surprised it's not burnt to beyond belief, to be honest. That's crazy. Well, I mean, if someone was in here, they reused the valve body plate or actually went and got a molded one from the dealer. They're hard to find aftermarket wise, and I just use a Transgo plate on them. I can tell it's a molded plate. God, they're all so loose. That one's tight. That's how they all kind of should have been. It's got the Reynolds. It's got a lot of metallic in it, a lot of bronze. Quite a bit. And it's got a decent amount of clutch material in the body. I've seen way worse, but I mean, let's see what we got on the balls here. Yeah, the forwards are worn. These 3/4s are going to be starting to show issues. The screens aren't too clogged in the body. Accumulator out of there. Need my snap ring. Last check ball. Put it in park. Get to the bolt. Clean up some of the oil. I gotta dump it though here in a second. All right. It needs a new pump. Somebody probably ran it the way it was. Who knows? But it definitely needs a new one. It's got some nice gouges in it there. I can feel through my glove. And I'm sure this one's just as bad. Usually they are if one is. And you can see where one of the slides worn out. Yeah, it's got a nice groove in it there. Stator's worn out too, so it does need a new pump. Alright, let's see what's going on with the guts of it. Washer, no big deal unless it's cracked or really overheated. Get the band off the anchor. The band looks like it's heated pretty good. Yeah, there's our reluctor wheel. Needs a new drum. The band is cooked, it's glazed. It's actually almost through to the rivets. I don't know how well you can see, but there's rivets on the anchors on both ends where it's riveted in. And once it gets past that, it's got metal contacting the drum. And yeah, it's almost there. The band junk, I mean, you're gonna get a band on a rebuild anyway, but the drum, the ridges are ridiculous in it. It's out around just a tiny bit. I can see it, don't need to straight edge it. The inside, yeah, it looks like where some of our bronze color is coming from off of that bushing at least. Oh yeah, it's chunky. The housing here is good, but the bushing's not. That bushing's got wear. I bet all the bushings are worn. Pretty excessive. Let's check the reverse input clutch. Where's my... Yeah, just cheap stock. Looks like Raybestos. I don't even know what brand that is. I've never seen that pattern. I can't see any writing on it, but it's just a stock tan paper, cheap clutch. It's starting to heat on the outer edge. It's got the turbolator steels. I'm sure those were reused. Maybe it's an Exidy. I don't know. Usually Raybestos, you can still see the print. And I don't remember Raybestos putting these lines on it. Could be some aftermarket I've never seen before. Not super bad, but not really what you should use. I mean, spec calls for high energy on all the plates in this unit, really. So it means that drum. 3/4 stack. It feels good. Not, I mean, it's a little borderline loose. It's not burn up by any means. So they do have the high energy in here and the graphite, which is good. Should just be a 7 friction stack. They look pretty good. It's got the wafers in it, which is good. Ply plate looks all right. Let's see, we should have, now they got 6. Oh, so they used a 700 style thicker friction, which you're supposed to use 7. Anything 04 and up uses 7 frictions, not 6. And these are the wrong steels too. They're I think is at 0.106 versus what's supposed to go in it with 6 steels is 0.095. So let's see what we got. Let's keep going. So I mean, not too hateful on that pack. Still needs to be replaced. Let's see if I can get it to here, get the forward out. We'll go over the Sprag in a minute. The plates look in decent shape again. It's just a stock tan paper. I mean, they're not too bad. You're getting a little heat scoring down in the lines. A little more discoloration on the back side. See if they had it stacked right. They do. They got the right thickness steels. They got their wave. They got the overrun. I was gonna say, where's the bearing? They got the right piece in there. Let's see what Sprag, if they updated it or what they did. They left the SKF Sprag in it. Hubs destroyed. That's where all their copper's coming from. Single cage, SKF junk. See, somebody built this for someone, and you know, they couldn't pass up the deal being like, you know, who knows, 500, 600, 700, whatever they charged them, but they don't replace the stuff. And it costs money to do it. And then you end up getting a bad unit. So that's bad. bad. That's gonna be fine, just needs new bushings. I don't see any marks on the teeth. The outer race just needs polished and cleaned up. It'll be okay. Let's get our bearing, get our overrun out. Your engine brake again, just tan stock, just garbage. I would never use that. So the drum has a little bit of wear from the reverse input clutches. Ooh. It's gonna need a new drum. The wear in there is a little too much. What'll happen is the teeth, when it applies, they'll get hung up on here because it's notched it out, and when it gets bad enough, these will start completely rotating. It is gonna need a new drum. So it needs both drums. Let's get the snap ring out. It's got just the 4-pin planet. Let's see, here it is. Let's grab this out of here. Oh, come on. Well, at least they put the snap ring in right. It's got the bearing style, the hub's ruined. It's totally worn out there. It's got side slack anyway. That's odd. Why do they have that bearing? Let's see that. See, that's another mistake they made. That is the wrong type of bearing that goes on here. On the 4-pin planets, this is like off of a 5-pin. No, I stand corrected. So it has the secondary style hub that's actually notched perfectly for this type. Because initially you'll see it like this and it's loose, because normally they're tight on the planet, which it is. But this hub is a second design for the bearing style that actually has it where it's locked in and it can't move. So that is the correct bearing. I misspoke. But the hub is bad. It needs a new one of these. Bearing, snap ring. That's bad. Bad. Yep, they have that on correct. The shell's totally worn out, the bearing. How are they end loading this? Because there's a lot of pressure on that where it's cut that out. I'll have to check the end play when I stack it back together. The shell is definitely hit. The splines are actually half gone. It's really hard to see that. They're totally gone on this side where the gear. Get the gear out of it. I mean, it locks in, but God, they're totally gone on this whole half. Needs a wide Sonics gear. Bushing's wiped on it again. Let's get the support out. So they have it right. Yeah, it's in there right. Again, with these cheap ass tan toilet paper plates, man. And they're definitely not the tannish color. They're starting to heat up on the inside. They reuse the steels. Keep all this. He might want to come in and look at it. Normally I'd be pitching those. Plane feels good. Check the bearing. bearing is good. They didn't change the Sprag. It's still got the original Sprag in it. It's seen better days. Needs a new one of them as well. It's got the later style output ring gear. Get his output shaft out here. There's the planet bearing, there's the rear bearing. Those are fine. The teeth on this look good. So the rear planet's good. So basically, I really want to know on the input drum if that was missing, because that would explain quite a bit. The band is fried, the pump is bad. So it needs the drum, the pump, new converter, all new bushings, frictions, steels, the Sprag, this hub, that Sprag. Trying to get all his parts together that are gonna need replaced. Keep the stuff that I'll reuse over here. All the old stuff there. There's our little clunk spring. Band anchor's stuck in it. There's just a lot of metal in it, and those bushings and the pump, and more than likely the converter. A lot of fine metal, not big chunkies, just a lot of fine metal. But yeah, that's it. So I gotta write this up, call him, let him know what it's gonna be, see if he wants to do it or not.